Peace and love, world family. Let me talk to y'all for a quick minute. When it comes to our black family, it's not really too much good to say about it. Everything is negative, just like our way of thinking, our way of seeing things. All of us, how you say, we point fingers and just turn to others all the time. We don't believe in ourselves. And what I'm referring to is the false science, the false astrology, the false teachers, our false sense of our skin, our ancestors. All this shit is a whole bunch of bullshit. The reason why I say bullshit is because let's start off with the last verse, ancestor shit. The Egyptians know it the best because they got hierarchy of things. You had your gods, your meanies, and your mortals, and your ancestors. Ancestors being the genetic family of the past, your bloodline family, physical family. Those is ancestors. Those should never be summoned, called, or used. You don't call up on the dead. That's a very, very disrespectful thing to do. The ancestor, how we look at it today and how it's supposed to be, they're in you. They're part of you. That's what's flickering right now. If you see my screen flickering when I'm talking, it's when I get turned up, the ancestors covering. So you don't have to summon them. They have a job and they have work to do. When you summon them, you disrespect them, you defile them when you do that. You read the story of Saul. Saul went to go see a seer. That's called necromancy. It's an art. A lot of y'all that wouldn't get into this ancestral ritual worship stuff should learn necromancy first, because it tells you the different spirits, how they work, how to work with them, how to get to know them. You have to build a relationship. If you're going to do ancestral worship, it's best you get to know the person that you're going to summon, even if it's your family. I'm pretty sure the one you're summoning, you probably wasn't alive when they was around. So you need to get some research done and find out about them, what they like and dislike, so you get the proper essence of what you're summoning, because you could get the spirit, but you could get the ghost of the spirit, you could get the consciousness of the spirit, you could get the image of the spirit. There's different levels to it, so you have to know the different levels. Now, we should never summon an ancestor for real. That's a sin, and that's wrong. It is, because they're on their journey to wherever they're going. They haven't completed it. They did not get to be God status. Some of them died and never made it, and some of them still have virtues they have to work out, and it's working out. So it's not good to just summon out of their context what they're supposed to be. Now, the other ones, usually what we see is what's called the gods. The gods is here. Like, for instance, around us, this is Shu. Shu is you could say it's the air element. And it's very important to know that that's what his job is. You can see the flickering. He's showing he's real. So being that he's actually not just air that you breathe, because nobody really defined air, oxygen. We just know it as oxygen, H2O or whatever, but we don't know what air is itself. It's a spirit. It's an energy. That's why when you're connected, you can manipulate it. So now, the gods we worship, the four main ones, Horus, Set, Isis, and Ra. Those is your four elements. Ra being fire, Isis being earth, Horus being really you are Horus, but in the elements, he will represent light, I guess, which will be a form of fire. And then you have Set. Set will be the darkness. These is what we see. These is not like the elements of fire, air, water, earth, because I didn't include water yet, because you see, fire is the main one. Everything comes from fire. Fire is water. Fire is earth. Fire is air. So all of those started off first as fire, and those are the kids of the fire. So that's how it will work as far as elements work. Now, when you look at darkness, we call that set, and it's a real live entity because in it, everything that's created is where it first is. It's an invisible world. So set now is responsible for what goes on in the womb. The womb is darkness, and in there, life is created from that darkness, but it was a spark of light that now has to be nurtured. And Set nurtures that little spark of sperm light or explosion and make it into a physical flesh and set off that whole journey. He don't do it by himself, but it's his darkness. He is darkness. Now you got the four elements that's going to do the actual work, because we have to realize the four elements is not just four gods. It's not just four spirits or just four um, scientific elements of the periodic table. No. What it is, it's a bunch of spirits. You could say millions, and each element is millions of spirits. And so these spirits is what come back inside the light. And they're in the light in different frequencies. These is your colors. Your red, your blues, your yellow, the basic Roy B giver, whatever you call it from your color spectrum. And that's what's called dimensions. It's dimensions of white light. Like when you take a pyramid and you put it in a white light, it separates the light into its proper perspective, so you get to see all the different colors. Well, in each one of those, people live in there. These entities live in there, or these elementals. And their job is that of how the chakra coincide to your body colors. Each one is there to upgrade a different part of your body depending on the chakra frequency and color, which is just the sun's light, but its frequency affect different parts of your body at different times of the day. So that's why the chakra colors from your red to your magenta, it represent each, not just a planet and a star, but also the different frequencies of light emitted from the sun during the course of the day. It's also responsible for your emotional side of you. You have not just an emotional side that you get from animals, but these emotional sides project colors for each emotion. So these colors was also represented in the chakra colors. They all coincide with each other. And so your emotional feeling or disposition has an effect not just on your physical body because it's all vibration. It also have an effect on your reality and everything around you. So it's good to keep your emotions in check because you're producing energy and colors that is not something you're consciously doing. And in not doing it consciously, your endocrinology system is making chemicals extra. These extra chemicals cannot be extracted from the body or excreted from the body, so it winds up just circulating as bad energy blockage. And for some people it turns to cancers and diseases because the first thing you're going to do is get a deficiency, which is a breakdown of your minerals and vitamins. First to go is B17. So once you lose B17, you're on your way to becoming sick, cancer, and all that stuff. And you know, the white people, they're going to manipulate the game and tell you that it's uncurable and you're on your way to death. You need chemo, and they're going to tear you up. So you have to understand how light works. And it's reference to you, your body. Everything is about the body. You know, if you was to look at you as above, so below, the microcosm and the macrocosm, what's inside of you, if you was to flip you out inside out, you will form the earth, and the rest of you will form the universe. You know, you'd be a globe. So what you have inside of you, you have the ability with your mind to transcend information and take this information inside of you and re-decode it, that you can interpret what you're seeing outside of you as far as the world, the universe, and understand and form. You know, understand it in a way that it becomes truth. Truth is facts, and if you understand how facts work, you know, it takes away speculations, opinion, and it keeps it what's called integrally correct. This is what's called your reality. And in our reality, we have illusions. This is could be, or it seems like a way of reality, but it doesn't mean it's actually reality. And so you live in a world that is not really a reality, but an actuality, depending on the person's mind and his perception of it, because you can see things and you think that's what it is, but you don't understand it, so you have no idea, and you use your own assumption or whatever definitions is out here to base your so-called fact upon, and that's not a fact. A fact is something that was stated from the beginning as truth, and at the end is truth. A lot of people, they come and they change the truth, and they don't understand that. And when you change the integrity of something, it loses its meaning. So now, being back that we don't understand a lot of things, we come and we take these incidents into our own accord and equate it to how we want to equate it, and make up false senses and false notions just so that we could please our inner self. Our real true self, we came from higher places of the light. And in the light, as soon as you got the brightest part, you also got the darkest part, which is reflective light. This reflective light now is where we live in, the reflective world. It's not a good world. It's not the pure light. It's a demonic world. That's why Earth itself is like a living hell. It is a living hell. It's the underworld. But you see, you don't have the eyes to see the underworld, so it becomes a parallel universe that you live in, but you get remnants of it from either flash visions in your side views, or sometimes people get them little flickers in the corners of their eyes. So, they got the eye to see it, but you just don't know how. So we live in a world like how the Egyptians showed it. We first came from light, separated, made positive and negative ends, and that's where you get your male and female from. And our version of the story is that we think female is the passive or the good energy. No, female is the aggressive, negative energy. The male is the positive, passive energy. That's the reality of it, astrologically speaking, when it comes to divinity. Now, when we ascended into matter, that's when we had to put polarities to us, put a positive and negative. It's a scientific fact that for you to get into matter, matter has to be a negative energy. So that's where you get your story of Adam being cut open, and they took a rib and sleep and everything, and it's to sleep into matter. And that's not a physical story, that's a spiritual story more. But anyways, once we became flesh, we lost our divinity. We don't even know who we was. We fell in love with our skin, and up to today, that's what y'all talking about, y'all skin. Your skin don't qualify you for shit. Let me tell you, after you done cleared up all the mess on the world, from the Chinese to the Japanese to the Portuguese to the whites, whatever, you still got your own peoples to deal with, because these now got the mentality of them white motherfuckers. And they gonna take that shit and run with it. Now they want their own Black Wall Street. They want their own fair stock exchange. They want everything white people done gave us to corrupt us. We want to keep corrupting ourselves. We want these material things. We don't understand. We're not material people. We star people. We for the earth. You understand that? And being for the earth, we're not supposed to be working and everything, but we still got to make a productive society, govern that everybody can live in. Not everybody's good. Just because you're good, that don't mean your neighbor's good or your brother's good. They got to be cleansed. Everybody has to be cleansed. That's the coming into day rituals that everybody went through in Egypt. Because you fall for temptations. You fall for your lower self because you come from the animal world. The underworld is a half beast, half human being, which became first plants, then animals, and then human being. But we always needed that precursor to be a human being. A human being isn't a separate being. He's what's in the first is in the last. He's part of the first creation, and they add on to it. They add on to it. Every time you add on to it, it changes. And this is how we came about. So we have dark and half light. That's why we have duality within ourselves. When it's one, that's deity. That means God. You don't have duality within yourself. That's why Jesus got in his parable, you take the two and make it one. You understand? One is deity. So, when you have two with duality, you have to compromise who you are. You have to come to some understanding. And that's what we deal with on a daily basis. Our duality within self, our duality in a relationship is always going to be there. That's nothing. And we have to overcome these animalistic dualities. Once you ascend past those stages, you will then have a whole new understanding of life. Because right now, you don't understand life. You just want to compete. You just want revenge. You're like a rebel with no cause, you know? But if I was to give you $1,000,000, trust me, within a year you're gonna fuck it up. There's no way you're gonna have that $1,000,000. See, for you to be rich, you have to be rich already. It doesn't make you rich by having money. Money is for the poor, to control them. Rich is the mind. It always makes up ways, always. So we shouldn't seek that was outside of us. It's already inside of us. But we do have to seek to leave our animal state of being and raise to a higher level of consciousness so we can learn who we are. The real truth for everything is that when these people all over the world came and seen how the Africans was, and I'm talking about the Benin tribe, the Uburu tribe, the Uru people, these people was dealing with higher beings. This is before they knew what religion was or anything was. They came into the woods of Nubia and they see how these people had not just systems set up, they had masonry set up, kings, queens set up, government set up. It was a whole system made up. And these systems was in place way before Europeans came here. We had our monarchies already. And aside from that, they had what's called their high priests and their shamans. These high priests and shamans, they did ritual magic. This ritual magic kept the community safe from negative spirits between different tribes, and it also kept them connected. When they did the real research into where this came from or where it originated back, it went all the way to Atlantis and Lemuria, with the two types of people of the black race that's here. You got a passive group of black people here, and you got a proud group of black people who's very dominating. The dominating one is from Atlantis. They the ones who brought the religion up and brought it into tribal Africa. And then you have the passive people of just energy, which is Lemurians. They naturalists. They've been here the longest, and they just here for the earth. They really like child heart, good people that is just here and is one with nature. They don't care about what's going on in this world. Just like the Tibetan monks, they don't care what goes on in this world. Y'all killing each other, that's all. But what I'm saying is, it's a shame to watch my peoples as a whole just like arguing and fighting over the color of their skin and what they could do and who's more superior. That way is an evil way. You got an evil mind inside you if that's what you care about, man. Humble yourself. Your skin don't qualify you to be better than nobody. It just means you was here longer. Everybody's skin is going to be dark. We just been here so long, we one with all elements. That's what you're seeing when you're looking at a dark-skinned person, like a dark tree. Same thing. New trees is light. Old trees is dark. So I want you to understand that we need to stop following these so-called people because we're lost. And they're not going to guide you to truth. What they're going to guide you to is patriotism within a culture that we didn't invent. And then the information we pass off, we get from them. Science. They trick us with the science, but yet we teach it to each other like if it's true. But we don't teach what's inside the heart. We don't teach people how to open up, how to learn, how to become one, not just with the higher self, one with everything around them, because that's the law of attraction. Sympathy. If you're sympathetic towards something, you attract it towards you. If you want something, you have to will it through emotions and imagination. And sympathy is the only way you can imagine something and will it. You have to love it. So, in us hating, we're killing our own divinity and can't will nothing but what those people that control us with hate is making us will into existence. So once we get out past this stage or whatever and realize everything is within ourselves, And that it's not about your color of your skin. Just like you have discrepancies or what we call scrimmage. That's an argument within a family or a unit. And it's not a real big argument, but it's just something between them. Y'all know, y'all got it between your brothers and sisters and y'all family members too. So don't act like y'all all correct and this is a good thing. All y'all want is to be nice and happy, music, play. Y'all don't even know black spirituality. It'll scare the shit out of you. You think it's demonic. That's what they got rid of everything for because of that same spirituality. That's your Inquisition. They took it though, hit the books of Alexandria, hit all the information. There's so much here. We was not nothing to play with when it came to going further than the average human being would go to learn. And that's what we are. But right now we rebels, the youngest rebels, and you can't do anything about it. You're an animal. And the government know that. That's why they take advantage of you. And I'm not saying in a disrespectful way, because you have to first go through the animal stage. That's what's called the prodigal son. You see, the prodigal son, why he came home and was made head of the household, is because he had experience. Even though the loyal one, who was the young son, stood there and did everything his father told him, he didn't have no experience. He's green. He's wet behind the ear. It's the one that have the experience that is the leader. You understand what I'm saying? So that is the animal young you in you, trying to acquire experience, but don't want to go out and make experience. You just going off of what people tell you. Somebody else say, and you agreeing with it inside to make yourself feel better. But you wouldn't know if it's true or not until you actually take the steps. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out here that could grab a gun, pick up a gun and shoot anybody. Shoot them with their eyes closed, shoot them from a distance. But, take your hands and go grab somebody and choke them till they die. Or take a knife and stab somebody. Is it in you to do that? A lot of people ain't got it in them to do that. And a lot of people can do that, but then for the rest of their life, they have a nightmare within themselves to deal with. So we should never prejudge a situation or think we got this until you experience the situation and learn from it. Once you're able to do that, then you're able to assess it and tell somebody else about it because you learn from it and you experienced it. But everything else, I don't know, to me, when you watch me or you watch somebody else or anybody you watch, you're supposed to be watching it because you had an experience and you're trying to get some type of information to give you some type of confirmation of what the information was. That's what this is for. It's not here for you to buy my personality and love my personality and watch me like if I'm some TV show. That's stupid. That don't make no sense. Then I'm here using you. I'm doing it purposely just to get your attention and eventually turn to something else. So I'm not here for you to be watching me or watching anybody else. I'm here to give you a message, you learn from it, and we move on. That's it. Anyway, one love, I'm done. I just wanted to let y'all know. Let's end this off with an ancestral meditation. But don't be summoning the ancestors, man. That's evil. You go to hell for that. That's necromancy, man. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about. almost zoned out on y'all. But I hope everything came out like I saw it, because the power of the ancestors is real and we have to know how to summon it. Anyways, the energy is strong right about now. The field is up and it's flickering like crazy. There's no real sun out. Let me show you so you see it's not really a sunny day. My balcony isn't sunny. So it's the energy, as you can see.